Want a real vibes only, unfiltered take on just about anything and everything? Entrepreneur, best-selling author, speaker, and busy mom, Chelsea Husum shares her unapologetic views about life, business, and this beautifully imperfect hot mess world we face each and every day with lip service and lashes. Now here's your host, Chelsea Husum.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Lip Service and Lashes podcast with Chelsea Husum. I am so glad you are here, and I hope you're having a wonderful week. Today, I wanted to talk about something that I've personally been dealing with kind of on and off for a few years now, where it's just something that's been on my mind. And I know I'm not the only one, because every time I talk to anyone, this topic seems to come up, and I know more people are thinking about this and kind of dealing with the same things that I am. So I definitely just wanted to talk about this on the podcast. So I want to talk about drinking, and I'm going to call this sober-ish. First of all, I'm going to say, if you drink, this is zero judgment against you at all. I gotta say, I love me some red wine, and I love me a margarita, especially like a spicy margarita. Delicious. Okay. I'm just gonna say that. I have drank for years socially, all of that, but I feel like as I've been getting older, I've been noticing that pretty much I can have like 2 glasses of red wine and feel like complete shit the next day, all day long. Like literally, I feel like I'm dying until I go to bed, which doesn't suit me right now. And I've just been thinking with all of this and thinking how I really want to reduce drinking, and not necessarily, my goal isn't to become completely sober, but very close. And I'm going to say, so last year, it was right before Christmas, I believe. So probably between Christmas and New Year's, I decided to quit drinking completely. So I rang in New Year's Eve last year, had 0 drinks, felt freaking awesome. Like I didn't wake up to start the new year hungover in any way. I felt great. And I really pretty much just quit drinking cold turkey until probably, I think, mid-February. And here's my weird thinking. I was going to an all-inclusive resort vacation with my family in Mexico. And honestly, it's like my brain was like, well, it's all-inclusive. It's like you should be going to Mexico, and why are you being completely sober in Mexico at an all-inclusive resort? Now, I will say I did go there and I barely drank. I drank way, way less than I would normally do, even though I'm not like they're guzzling, getting shit-faced. Let me just say that. But I really, only drank like one day, and then I'd have like 1 drink a day or whatever. It was definitely a good balance. But when I came back then, I just kind of jumped back in and started drinking again, like on the weekends if we go out, whatever. Or think, oh, I want to have a glass of wine to wind down tonight. So I kind of got back into it and lost the momentum that I had made. So really for me, this decision, I've been thinking about it for quite a few years, to really step away from alcohol. Again, it just makes me feel like shit. When I think about it, it's the literal one thing that is sabotaging all the rest of my goals. For example, let's say tonight I had a bad day. I come home, I drink a bottle of wine, or even 2 glasses, let's say. For me, that's enough to give me a headache. So tomorrow, I'm going to wake up. I normally get up at 5:30 in the morning to go to the gym. Let's say I, drank tonight. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to wake up probably with a headache and feel like shit. Then I might say, oh, I'm just going to skip the gym today because, it's okay. And I have a headache. I don't want to make it worse. Okay. So that's already derailed my day. Then I probably will go eat like a double cheeseburger or something really delicious and yummy and cheesy and greasy because, you feel like shit. And then you're like, just the emotional eating or the eating to try to get rid of your hangover, right? Then I just am pissy with my kids. I'm snapping at them. I'm just irritable. I have, my patience is dangerously thin and I'm kind of a pile of shit for work. Like I'm not productive. I'm not really doing much to move the needle forward, that kind of stuff. So it's just for me something that I saw flowing through and really it was holding me back. I wasn't reaching my full potential each day. And when I feel like crap, I just don't want to do anything. It's like when you are doing a bunch of things, right? I'm running a construction company. I'm a wife, a mom. I'm podcasting. I'm writing books. I'm speaking. I'm doing all these things, right? And just living my life. It's, I can't function when I don't feel well. And so for me, it's like I have to look at my habits when I'm starting to notice like I'm kind of in a rut and I'm not really feeling great. I'm not doing the things I should be, that I'm like to be doing. I have to look at my habits and say, okay, what am I doing that drains my energy and makes me feel like crap? In this case, drinking, yes. And then like I said, skipping the gym, which that gives me energy and that lets me, start each day with a really good like mental state and feeling focused and refreshed. So it's like those things at some point need to go if you're actually wanting to perform at a high level and, and really meet like meet your potential and stop letting things hold you back. So I had, when I had stopped, I now know I have a lot of sober friends, completely sober, which is really cool. They are amazing, amazing people. And for various reasons, some of them were alcoholics and had, issues, major issues that they were dealing with. And that was their choice. They had to get sober. I have other friends that just a lot of people I've talked to like didn't like how they were feeling, just like me. And so they're like, enough. I can't go through life, feeling like shit. I have to, I'll happily give it up. Um, and weirdly, when I kind of first stopped drinking, I felt, and I kind of announced it to people really to hold myself accountable, to put myself out there. But I when I would have like a drink or two drinks like in a month or whatever, nothing crazy, I would feel weirdly guilty. And I was like, well, I don't like how this is making me feel. Like I don't Here's the deal. For the choice for me to go sober did not stem from me being a raging alcoholic. It did not stem from me being like getting blackout drunk, doing crazy things. Um, it really didn't. I never really even got a buzz, to be honest. But I'm like, it just made me feel bad. It made me feel tired, sluggish. And one thing, I would wake up in the middle of the night and I couldn't sleep. Like I would literally lay there from like 2 to, I don't know, 4 a.m. and be like, oh my God, I feel so hot, like physically hot, and I can't sleep. So it was messing up my sleep. It's messing up my energy. I became kind of lazy when I actually did. And then I'd have a headache, and that sometimes the headaches would go on for weeks, or like a whole week here, and I'd just be a piece of shit. So it just, I have to remove the fact that, okay, my goal is sober-ish, as close to sober as possible, but I'm not going to say I'm never going to have a drink again because that's just not realistic. And I'm not going to beat myself up if I choose to have a drink because it almost in my head would have been easier to quit if I like was a raging alcoholic and I was doing stupid things and I was being reckless and, doing bad things, then it would be like, yes, you have to quit. But then in my head, it's like, well, it's okay to have a drink because I'm not doing anything reckless or crazy or blacking out or, fighting with my husband or whatever. So it was like almost harder for me to be completely sober. because of that, because I would justify it like, well, you aren't an alcoholic. You're just wanting to quit to feel better, right? So it's this weird mental space that I've been in. And more people that I talk to have completely reduced drinking, or they're drastically cut back, and they partake every so often, like have a drink. For me, what I have found that really has helped me is kind of to plan ahead. If I know I have a work event, if it's at a restaurant, I will look and see if they have any non-alcoholic beers. And then I go there, I'm like, yep, I already know what I'm ordering. Some of my favorite, this is not an ad, but like truly people have asked me, some of my personal favorite non-alcoholic drinks are the athletic non-alcoholic beers. They're super, super yummy. There's a golden one and there's an IPA. They taste just like beer, and I have like one, maybe two if I'm getting crazy. And they're really low calories and they're just yummy. And so it satisfies that craving for me of wanting a beer. And if I'm out hanging out, it serves the purpose. I also like the Heineken 0.0 with a lime. Like adding the lime for some reason kind of makes it feel fancy and just yummy. And then I also drink a good amount of tea. I just drink water. I drink like sparkling water, LaCroix, that kind of stuff. That's really all I drink all day long. And then the last thing that I've been drinking now for years is called Hyo. It's Hiyo. And it's really low calories. It's like they call it a social tonic or something like that. But it's really yummy flavors, and it just, again, to have it on hand just helps me have another option for when people are hanging out and they're all drinking and I don't want to drink, and I just have one or two of those. So being prepared mentally and having things around you on hand really, really helped me. But I would love to hear from you. Please reach out to me on social media or anything if you've been thinking the same thing, because I know there's this, back in the day, gosh, when I was pregnant, the only non-alcoholic beer was O'Doul's, which sucked. Sorry, it did. And now there's like a million non-alcoholic beers. Pretty much every brand has created non-alcoholic beers at this point to step up, because there's so many people going completely sober, or sober-ish, I'm going to call it. But there's so many options now. If that's the lifestyle you choose, then really you have no excuse not to be involved and go. You can go to parties, you can go to events. Like, you don't need to hide under a rock, and you can still have fun and hang out with people if you choose to live this way. So I would love to hear if you have been thinking about this, if you have gone sober, if you have gone sober-ish, if you are, thinking, if you're like, yeah, I totally agree, it makes me feel like crap, I'm wanting a change or something like that. Please reach out to me. I love talking with people about this and seeing other people that, we can support each other and talk about this. I've also read really good books on this. I think one of my favorites is I think it's called The Joy of Being Sober. But Amazon has a ton of books on that. There's also a lot of people on Instagram. It's really interesting to see they post pictures of back when they were like blackout drunk alcoholics, or do them dancing around being crazy, and then they kind of post how their life has up leveled at this point, and how it's improved since they've gotten sober, or reduced drinking or whatever. So there's really a lot of people being very vocal about this, that you can look to for advice, for inspiration, encouragement, all that kind of stuff. And again, I am not judging you if you drink. Totally fine. Again, I really enjoyed socially drinking. But there comes a point in life where you really have to choose. And I just refuse at this point to go through life feeling like crap, feeling like my energy's drained, not putting my full self out into the world. And I'm really self-sabotaging, truly. Like, that is, by me drinking, that's what I'm doing. I'm holding myself back in so many ways. And it's like, I feel that I have things to put out in the world and I have things to do. And I'm really passionate about a lot of things. And I don't want that to have any hold over me. I don't want it to be holding me back anymore. And I really finally need to take control of my life and how I feel and my habits that I'm doing. And if there's anything that doesn't make me feel good, that goes away. And I focus on the habits and things that fill me up and give me energy and make me feel good, like moving my body, getting outside in the sunshine, walking my dog, reading, doing things that make me laugh, like playing, have fun, right? So there's so many other things that we can fill our time with. And it's weird how much time socially as a society we fill with drinking. So when you take that away, really, you have so much more time to start a hobby, to start this, to connect with people, to, figure out who you are as a person if you haven't. There's so much potential out there that I feel like drinking or other habits that you feel are sabotaging your progress, I feel like it's holding us back. And we really need to take a deep look at, how am I feeling? How am I filling my time? How am I spending my time? What am I doing every day to be my best self and go out into the world like the person I'm meant to be? So I just needed to share. I literally have been thinking about this for years, a good, solid, at least 2 years, maybe more. And it's funny, like I've been on trips and I'm reading a book and the waitress will be like, "Oh, do you like that book? Oh, I see you ordered a non-alcoholic beer." And we'll sit and have a whole conversation. She's like, "Oh my God, I've been thinking about this too." I mean, it's just funny how many people, this is on their mind and they're just kind of sick of it at some point. So, I hope, this strikes a chord with some of you. Please reach out if it does. And if you're happily having some drinks, go get it, girl. Great. Good for you. Have one for me because my old body is somehow becoming allergic to it. So just have one for me. But please share this with friends, subscribe, give us a rating if you'd be so kind. And I so appreciate you. Just remember, no BS, just real vibes. Until next time, this has been the Lip Service and Lashes podcast, and I am Chelsea Husum. We'll see you soon, friends.
Thanks for listening to Lip Service and Lashes with Chelsea Husum. Make sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. To learn more about Chelsea and her life as a hot mess mompreneur, head over to chelseahusum.com. And be sure to follow her on all social platforms. Thanks for listening, and just remember, no BS, just real vibes.